Hey YouTube! Welcome back to another episode of the okayest MTG content creator with me, your host, Chief. We are rolling right along, churning out videos, second day in a row, and I got another fun deck tech for you today. It's going to be a bit of a longer video, so buckle up, strap in, and get ready for the ride. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite Orzhov commanders, Kambal, Profiteering Mayor. For 1 white and a black, you get a legendary creature, Human Advisor, who says whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them, create a tapped token that's a copy of it. This ability triggers only once each turn. And whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. And he's a 2/4. This guy came out in Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and I think he was a massively slept on commander. He is phenomenal in any sort of life gain, token strategy. It's a lot of fun, and I'm going to go over how I built the deck to maximize on all of his abilities. So first thing we're going to talk about is some of the cards you can use in the deck to gain life, because you want to gain a lot of life and the deck is full of life gain payoffs. So to start off, we got an enchantment. It's a 1-drop, 1 white mana, cleric class. Its first level says if you would gain life, you gain that much plus 1 instead. Already good. Pay 3 and a white, go to level 2, and whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature you control. And then for 4 and a white on its third level, when it becomes level 3, you return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Any target creature card in your graveyard. And you gain life equal to its toughness. So this 1-drop can do a lot of work. Next we got Dazzling Angel. For 2 and a white, you get a 2/3 flying angel that says whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. And I've got the deck full of this particular mechanic right here, where creatures enter, you gain life. So I'll just burn through these real quick. We also got Impassioned Orator, Distinguished Conjurer. She's also got another ability, pay 4 white and tap her to exile another target creature you control and return to the battlefield under its owner's control. So this is great. You can use that for protection or double up on ETB effects. Got Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. Toughness equal to your devotion to white. And whenever another creature you control enters or dies, gain a life. Life Creed Duo. We got Nyx Fleece Ram. For 1 and a white, he's an enchantment creature sheep that says at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain a life. This is actually going to pay off a lot, and he may just be a 0/5, but that's a lot of toughness, so he's a great blocker. And also threw in this land, Scoured Barrens. It's a land that enters tap, but when it enters, you gain a life. This can pay off if you just need to gain life for your life gain payoffs.
Music licensing reimagined.
Next up, so we talked about life gain. Let's talk about some of the life gain payoffs. Here's a couple of creatures. We got Voice of the Blessed. For 2 white, you get a 2/2 Spirit Cleric who says whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Voice of the Blessed. As long as he has 4 more 1/1 counters, it has Flying and Vigilance. And as long as it has 10 or more 1/1 counters, it has Indestructible. So this thing could become a great blocker and beater because it can attack with Flying and Vigilance, not be tapped, and then you got a blocker who could be indestructible. Great life gain payoff. And next we got Celestial Unicorn. It says whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Celestial Unicorn. So this could pay off anytime that you're gaining life.
Music licensing
So we talked about some of the life gain. Let's talk about some of the ways you're going to drain your opponents out, because I built the deck more as a way to not have to attack that often. Mostly you're just getting a lot of life gain and drain triggers off of all your pieces. So first we got Indulging Patrician. For 1 white and a black, you get a 1/4 flying lifelink Vampire Noble that says at the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, each opponent loses 3 life. Next is Venerated Stormsinger. It is a 3/3 Orc Cleric. It says Mobilize 1, which if you don't know about the Mobilize mechanic, it came out in the most recent Tarkir Dragonstorm set. It says whenever this creature attacks, Create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token and sack it at the end step. It also has a great static ability that says whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Next is Zulaport Cutthroat. Also, whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life. Corpse Knight says whenever another creature you control enters, each opponent loses a life. Suture Priest. Your creatures enter, you gain life. Your opponent's creatures enter, you can have them lose life. Blood Artist. Do I even need to talk about this one? It is such a mainstay in Aristocrats and Orzhov strategies. Marauding Blight Priest. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses a life. Ellis Ilkor Sadistic Pilgrim. 2/2 Death Touch. Already good. Whenever another creature enters under your control, you gain life. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life. Vran, Executioner Thane. He's a 2/2, says whenever one or more other creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Only triggers once each turn, but it pays off. And Creeping Bloodsucker. For 1 and a black, at the beginning of your upkeep, Creeping Bloodsucker deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. So you're going to be getting at least 3 life if you have 3 people in your commander pod.
Music licensing reimagined.
So that's the life drain effects that we have in the deck. So what else do we need? Well, in any deck, you're probably going to need card draw. So let's look at some of the pieces we got for card draw. First is Takasia's Welcome. For 2 and a white, you get an enchantment that says whenever 1 or more creatures with mana value 3 or less enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Next is Isle of Oblivion. For 2 colorless, you can tap it and draw a card, activate only if you created a token this turn. And then it has an ability for 8 mana and tap, you sack it to make a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. We're probably not going to be using that second ability very often, but we will draw so many cards from this. Benny Brack, Zoologist. He's got Convoke, so he can be easy to cast at the beginning of each end step, not just your end step. If you created a token this turn, draw a card. Enduring Innocence. It has lifelink. It's a 2/1 Sheaf Glimmer. It says whenever 1 or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. Triggers only once each turn. And then, if it dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. And it's an enchantment. Morbid Opportunist. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, not just yours, but any other creatures, draw a card. Triggers only once each turn. Staff of the Storyteller. This artifact is great. Whenever it enters, you make a 1/1 white spear creature token with flying, and whenever you create 1 or more creature tokens, put a story counter on Staff of the Storyteller. Then you can pay white, tap it, and remove a story counter from the staff and draw a card. Exemplar of Light. I feel like this guy was really slept on as well, but for 2 and 2 white, you get a 3/3 angel with flying who says whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. And then whenever you put 1 or more 1/1 counters on this creature, draw a card. Triggers only once each turn. This guy's going to get massive, and he'll just help you draw so many cards. And finally, we got Skull Clamp. We're going to be making a lot of small token creatures. Might as well have this Skull Clamp to just churn through our deck. So we talked about the card draw. Let's get to the real meat of the deck here. How are we going to make all these tokens? Because Kambal needs tokens for everything to work. So first up, we got Call the Coppercoats. This is a great instant for 2 and a white, and it has Strive, so you can pay 1 and a white more for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target opponents and create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures those opponents control. So you can either just pay the 2 and the white for 1 opponent, or pay 1 and another white for another opponent, 1 another white for your third opponent, and just make that many 1/1 soldiers. Next I got Krumar Initiate. He's a 1 and a black for a 2/2 human cleric. You can pay X and a black, tap him, and pay X life. This creature endures X, which means you can put X 1/1 counters on the creature, or make an XX White Spirit creature token. So we're probably going to be using him to make the token most of the time. Next, Mondrak, Glory Dominus, one of the best token doublers in the game. Also, you can make it indestructible. I got Release the Dogs in here for 3 and a white. Create 4 1/1 white dog creature tokens. When you just absolutely need some tokens, this is great in a pinch. Next, for 1 and a white, an enchantment, Griffin Airy. It says, beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 white Griffin creature token with flying. It's going to be so great to get this life gain payoff. Next, expensive card, I know, but Anointed Procession is phenomenal in this deck. Doubles your tokens. Next I got Shadrix Silverquill. It is a 2/5 Elder Dragon with flying and double strike who says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Each mode must target a different player. And the options are a target player makes a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. A target player draws a card and loses a life, and a target player puts a 1/1 counter on each creature they control. So you get to choose the players. You usually will choose an opponent and yourself. If you make an opponent make a 2/1 Inkling, you get a 2/1 Inkling from Kambal. You can be the one to draw the cards, or you can be the one to put 1/1 counters on your creatures. So this guy's great. Next we got Thalise, Referent Medium. At the beginning of each end step, create X 1/1 White Spirit creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. Honestly, she could be a great tokens commander on her own right, but she's great in this deck. And we got Secure the Waste. Very simple. For X and a white, make X 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. Oketra's Monument. Your white creature spells cost 1 less for you to cast. And whenever you cast a creature spell of any sort, create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. Great artifact. Next is Hidden Stockpile, an enchantment for white and black that says, at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. And then it has a sack outlet built into it. Pay 1, sack a creature, scribe 1. Lots of value on this guy. Combat Calligrapher. He's a 3/3 with flying who says Inklings can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. And then whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, that attacking player creates a tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying that's attacking that opponent. So this is your opponents can do this, attack another opponent, or you can attack your opponent. It's Inklings for the whole family. Song of the World Soul. So it's expensive, 4 and 2 white, but whenever you cast a spell, populate. This is going to be extremely powerful in this deck because it turns all of our spells into ways to make more tokens. This is a fun one. A Crowan Horse. For 4 colorless, you get a 0/4 with Defender, and when it enters, an opponent gains control of it. And at the beginning of your upkeep, this is talking about the opponent who controls it, each opponent puts a 1/1 white soldier creature token on the battlefield. So you give this to an opponent, and then on their upkeep, everybody else makes a white soldier creature token, including you, and then you get one for everybody who made a soldier. Next we got Lunar Convocation for white and black. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, each opponent loses a life. Already good. And then at the beginning of your end step, if you gained and lost life this turn, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. And you can pay 1 and a black and 2 life to draw a card, so it helps you get that little bit of life loss if you want the most value out of it. This is a big one. For 1 white, you get an Ocelot Pride. This is such a house. It's a 1/1 with first strike and lifelink and ascend. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. Then if you have the City's Blessing, for each token you control that entered the battlefield this turn, make a token that's a copy of it. Oh man, we are going to be making so many tokens, and this is just going to double those every one of our end steps. Insane for 1 white mana, such a good card. Next is Nesting Dovehawk, a 2/2 bird with flying that says the beginning of combat on your turn, populate. So every combat, you're going to make a copy of a creature token you control. And whenever a creature token enters the battlefield area you control, this gets a 1/1 counter. It's going to get huge. Next we got Divine Visitation. If one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead. This is insane. Instead of making 1/1 birds or bats or 1/1 soldiers, we get 4/4 flying angels with vigilance. Court of Grace is an enchantment that says, when it enters, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you're the monarch, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying instead. This is insanely good. If we can hang on to the monarch, we'll just be churning out 4/4 angels. Next we got Elspeth, Sun's Champion. This is such a good planeswalker. You take her up 1 on the loyalty, put 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield, and you can take her down 3 to destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. And her final ability, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2 and flying. So this is probably one of the best planeswalkers in the game. I've said it before, and I still stand by it. Next we got Baron Bertram Greywater. He's a vampire noble who says whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 black vampire rogue creature token with lifelink. This ability triggers only once each turn. And he's a sack outlet. Pay 1 in a black, sack another creature or artifact, and draw a card. So this guy is great. A lot of work from Baron Bertram.
Music licensing reimagined.
So you can see we're going to be making a big board of tokens, but how do we protect ourselves? We're going to draw a lot of heat from all this life drain, life gain. So what do we got? So first up is Ghostly Prism. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. And then right after that, we got Windborn Muse, which is basically Ghostly Prison on a creature. And we got Rootborn Defenses. It has 2 and a white. Populate, so make another copy of one of your tokens, and creature you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Next we got Ink Shield. It's an expensive instant at 3, a white and a black, but you prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this turn. For each 1 damage prevented this way, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying, and this can be insane. Your opponent thinks they're going to hit you for a ton of damage. Instead, you just make a ton of 2/1 flyers. Next, we got Batwing Broom. For 1 and a hybrid Azorius mana, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn if white was spent to play Batwing Broom. Each player loses 1 life for each attacking creature he or she controls if black was spent to play Batwing Broom. And you do both if white or black was spent. Another great fog, and it drains our opponent some more. We also got an Ashnod's Altar. It's just a powerful sack outlet. You sack a creature, you add 2 colorless mana. This is known as a combo house right here. And we got a few pieces of removal just to round out the deck. So Bovine Intervention syncs up very well with our commander. Destroy a target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 2/1 white ox creature token. And with our commander, we get to make a tapped version of that ox as well. Also, the classic Swords to Plowshare is probably still the best piece of targeted removal in the game. Generous Gift. Destroy a target permanent. Its controller makes a 3/3 elephant, which we will likely make one as well. And finally, I got Hour of Reckoning. It has Convoke. You can destroy all non-token creatures. Once we've got a board just full of nothing but token creatures, we're going to be in a really good position. And finally, this last category I've got for you is just what I'm calling the oddities section. So we got Acorn Catapult for 4 colorless. It's an artifact that says pay 1, tap Acorn Catapult, and it deals 1 damage to a target creature or player, and that creature's controller or that player creates a 1/1 green scroll creature token, which means we would get to make one as well. And I got Tempting Contract. Beginning of your upkeep, each opponent may create a treasure token. For each opponent who does, you create a treasure token. And when they create treasure tokens, our commander makes more treasure tokens. So this is a very funny political piece right here.
Music licensing.
Finally, I got a little bit of a combo. This is the Book of Exalted Deeds. It says, for 3 white, at the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, make a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. So it's already good for making more tokens. But then you can pay 3 white and tap it to exile the book. Put an enlightened counter on a target angel. It gains you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. And you do this as a sorcery. And you combo this with Mutavault. It's a land that says it either taps for colorless or you pay 1 and it becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until end of turn. And it's still a land. So the combo goes, you put that enlightened counter on Mutavault once it's an angel, and at the end of your turn it goes back to being a land, but it still keeps the counter. The counter doesn't go away. This is very difficult for your opponents to remove because nobody runs that much land removal in Commander. And that's pretty much it. I really enjoy this deck. I think it is just a fun, unique way to play. Doesn't do a whole lot of attacking, but you make so many tokens, you get so many life gain payoffs that you have multiple win cons in the deck, and I really enjoy a lot. So that's pretty much all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, have a good one.